that INEC is independent. And we'll have an audit to see what are those factors, and we shall deal with them accordingly. I can give that assurance, Excellency.
Distinguished Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, and Mr. Nominee. For me, Mr. President, where you come from matters to me. Your pedigree, your antecedents also matter to me. I must confess that you have a very intimidating resume. I want to ask, you have indicated here most of the areas and activities that you have engaged in for the first time. For the first time. And I want to say that, as they say, you have satisfied the requirements in character.
Use your campaign voice. Let's ask questions before conclusion.
Okay. You have satisfied, as they say, both in character and learning, the requirements for the award of the numerous degrees that you have now. One of the very critical things or concerns of Nigerians, and indeed the international community, is the integrity of elections. Which could make or mar democracy. I want to ask, with your wealth of experience, can you share with us what accountability mechanisms that you will expand or introduce into our electoral process to allay these concerns? Mr. President, that is my question.
Distinguished Senator Lalong.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Once again, Simon Lalong, representing Plateau South, and also Plateau State, where you are coming from. Chairman, Committee on INEC and Electoral Matters. Prof, I won't call it intimidating resume, but exemplary resume. Because you were one time, you were my dean. You supervised my dissertation. You were a great judger. No, it's not disqualified. I was a student, ordinary student.
Senator, distinguished Senator Lalong, I didn't hear you well.
Sir, I said in the course of my studies, I also went through him.
You went
when
through
I
him?
was reading master's degree. But I didn't go to University of Jos. I went to ABU and came back, did master's. I met him briefly. I saw him briefly there as a dean. He was the dean.
Huh?
He was the dean. So he didn't supervise me directly. He was the dean.
Senator Lalong.
Sir.
Please do not bias the minds of members.
No.
Why I'm saying this is, if you if you went through him,
yes,
or you went under him, however you did, all we want to do, from what you are saying, you want to attest to his character.
Yes, sir.
So just say, I attest to his character, then you sit down so that
others
can ask questions.
Thank you. Yes, Prof. There's a very important thing. As a professor of evidence, one of the thorny issues that came up in the last election was the issue of beavers and IReV platform, which were game changers. But we also saw operational challenges in the last elections. Given your understanding of the terrain, how do you intend to ensure these technologies function optimally going forward? That's my question, Mr. President.
Prof, can they take more questions? Or you want to answer those two? Yeah?
I leave it to your discretion, sir.
You take more questions?
Very well, sir.
Because I noticed that almost the entire Senate is eager to ask you questions. And they all represent senatorial districts and constituencies. And the questions they are asking you are the concerns of Nigerians, of their constituents. Because of the fact that they were participants in the various elections. So they are very familiar. And all they want to know is whether things will change. So he's saying that the beavers and the IReV were meant to be game changers. But instead, in some instances, they presented difficulties and problems that could not be solved by the ordinary people. So if you become the national chairman of INEC, what do you hope to do? But that is very technical. I think you should get into the office, study it, study the flaws, and from there, you will know what to do. But if he has an answer, okay. Based on the fact that you have been working with us from the House of Representatives, so you have an idea. So proceed to answer.
Very well, sir. Your Excellency, distinguished senators, the purpose of introducing beavers and IReV was to ensure the integrity of the election. And that is the purpose of technology all over the world. I believe what happened in 2023, which was subsumed as a glitch, before we went into the election, my own understanding and based on the review of the decisions of Supreme Court, we found that there was no clarity as to the purpose of beavers, of IReV. Not until the Supreme Court came out to say that IReV was not an electronic collation system. And that position was not properly brought out before the election. The INEC was supposed to be a safeguard for comparison because the laws made by this distinguished Senate did not do away with manual collation. But however, IReV was supposed to provide some guarantees and checks and balances. But owing to the issues of glitches, which in simple time, I understand as improper configuration, especially during the presidential election, that eroded the confidence of so many people. So, as His Excellency the Senate President said, I have to audit the system if I'm given the opportunity to see what is actually wrong and whether we have what it takes as it is now. Because it is not just the INEC responsibility alone. You have the other agencies like NCC, NIMC, and the service providers that will have to work together to ensure that we give Nigerian a technology that everybody will be happy about. And I want to believe that the question of the minority leaders is also similar to that. There would definitely be an audit of what the system we're meeting, and especially of the logistic of the election itself, and ensure that the proper strategy is put in place. We all know the problem. So we'll find a proper strategy to be able to confront those problems headlong. I give one example. Logistic problem. We rely on third-party logistics to transport sensitive election materials. Some of the vehicles, when you see them, they are old. And they don't even go far. And when they drop the materials, they don't even remain to bring back. So when they abandon the voting and the results, and collation is made or to transport, you now have to be hiring machines and so. So we need to take it serious and ensure, even if INEC has to go into some form of logistic on its own, to ensure that that aspect. I'm just giving you one example that I know. Thank you, sir.
So, Prof, you are saying that when they drop the materials at the various units, they hardly come back to pick the results.
In some cases.
So some of our results must have been forgotten.
The results are not forgotten, sir. But you find the presiding officer at risk that as soon as the election is over, they wait for so long, and they have to even make their own arrangement to get to the collation center. In the process, they get there very late. And so, sometimes you get there, with due respect, sir, my wife was returning, was it a collation officer? I had to bring a generator to help them. There was no light. So, logistics waste time. And those facilities are not there. If we want to do it, let's do it well. So we'll provide the necessary logistic, transport logistic for that purpose.
Senator Yari. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and the Senate, distinguished colleagues. Prof, congratulations for this tax that's coming out of you, more especially while we're heading to the next